Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m., May 7th. Welcome to my channel. Man, this market was pretty horrible yesterday. Volume is just super low. Volatility has gone down. And then you just had the late surge in the markets. So, the market continued to just melt up with this low volume. And, good morning, Chief. So, it's pretty much what's going on. And we have low volume again today, relatively low volume. Just so you understand what I'm saying, I can show you. It's pretty paltry volume here. So check this out. We're at 62% relative volume in the ES and 51% in the NASDAQ. Almost half the normal volume in the NASDAQ and only 62% on the ES. And then in crude, you're at 85%. So yesterday, I was more trading crude yesterday, because this market is like, I don't know, somebody's on vacation or something's away or something's going on. But that's relative volume, which is that's not going to bode well for volatility. The market's not going to move around much. So, kind of stinks, actually. However, we had a couple earnings. We'll talk about that. Um, let's get into it. All right. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, anchor VWAPs, the most traded price of the year, the rolling week, the rolling month, previous day. Just helps me find structure in the market. It's kind of my foundation where I come up with game plans. I usually do that around 8:30. Give you guys some news, stocks, what stocks are doing, why they're moving, and try to come up with some type of game plan for the day. All right. So right now, this is pretty paltry. Um, Pretty paltry volume. So we will look at a bunch of things. There's a couple of levels that I want to talk about, and we'll get into that. All right. But first, why don't we just start with the futures? Okay. All right. Let's look at this. Now, Bitcoin obviously pulled back. That pullback got bought up. That's up 0.6%, 0.61%. The VIX is up 0.22. We're down under 14. So fear is pretty much getting pushed out of this market. Bonds are being bought. That's going to send the 10-year yield a little lower, which could further fuel the rally, right? Russell up 0.2. The dollar's up 0.16. Okay. Ether's up 0.06. The Dow's up 0.05. ES is up 0.04. Okay, 10-year yield will come out 820. Nasdaq's down 0.14. Crude is down 0.32. Okay, now crude, yesterday there was almost a ceasefire agreed with Hamas, but then Israel attacked them yesterday in not agreeing to anything. So crude is definitely pulled back. So it's kind of like balancing and it's holding the support. And I'll get into these key levels and some things later. Silver's down 0.45 and gold's down 0.48. Okay, that's what's going on in the futures. Let's go to the Mag 7 Plus. Who's the leader this morning? It's Apple. Apple got an upgrade. Yesterday it was like the laggard, and today it's not. It's the leader. Okay. Now you don't really have any other positive stocks in this list. Okay. Now what you do have is negatives. Okay, BABA is down 2.28%. Snow down 2%. Interesting. Snow is down 2%. They report earnings next, not They report earnings the 22nd. All right. Now Tesla is down 1.49. Nvidia is down 1%. Nvidia got like a price target raise. They report earnings. I think the 22nd or the 22nd. Boeing just got bad news with someone saying they need to fix their planes. All right. So that's what's really going on. This market is due for some type of sideways consolidation, a pullback. Okay, I'll explain why later, and we're moving on. Top sector stocks here. All right, Exxon's up 0.21. Cat is up 0.15. Not much leaders here at all. At all. All right, but we have a laggard. Eli Lilly down 0.11. Salesforce down 0.23. Now Disney reported earnings and they're down 5%. So they are down 5%. They are in the communications sector. Okay, now go to my swing trade list. Let's see who the leader there is. I think that's Sealy Tempur-Pedic. I could be wrong with that. They're up 3.73%. That's financial. I forget how you say that. Fiserv. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Fidelity. I can't. I'm forgetting the ticker. Target. Target got a price target raise or an upgrade. But there's not much leading today. Okay. Laggard. Palantir. They reported earnings, but they didn't do as good as they said they were going to do, as expected. So they're down 11.45%. Datadog down 11.32%. Did they report this morning? They did. Okay, so Datadog, cybersecurity down, Lucid down, Celsius down, DoorDash down, GameStop, AMC, Crocs, Mara down. Okay. Mara's reporting this week too. They report on the 9th. Okay. Let's go back. Moving on to sectors. Let's look at the sector outlook. Leading the pack this morning is financials. I believe that's that FIS. All right. That's why you saw some love there. What else here? They're up only 0.19 though. Lagging is communications. That's your Disney, that's your Google, that's your Meta. Discretionary, that's your Tesla, your Amazon, your Home Depot, and your semiconductors are down 0.3. Down 0.3. Okay. That would wrap up those watch lists. Okay. Now we can get into some news. Just give me one sec while I pull that up. All right, let's do it. Now, we don't have much to talk about here with economic calendar. Today we have, honestly, don't even know what that is. Not even sure that's a market mover. This RCM tips economic optimism index. That's at 10 a.m. But we have Fed Kashkari speaking at 11:30. So that could move the markets. Okay. A lot of Fed speak this week. That's really what's going on there. Okay. As far as other news, let's get into here. Okay, so what do we have here? We have Disney posts surprise profit in streaming entertainment, raises earning forecast. Well, Disney posts their first profit. All right, but they're down. Apple expected to show new iPads and possibly a new chip. Apple plans to hold a virtual event where it's expected to show new iPad models, some of which could come with a new chip aimed at speeding up artificial intelligence tasks carried out on devices. Well, what do you think that's going to do with Apple, right? Let's see. Duke Energy beats first quarter profits. All right. U.S. seeks answers from Tesla and Autopilot recall probe. U.S. auto safety investigators are seeking detailed answers and documents from Tesla in a probe into the automaker's December recall of more than 2 million vehicles to install new autopilot safeguards. Maybe that could be negative news with Tesla. Okay. Now let's just see if there's anything else here to note. There we go. There's Fidelity. I was right. FIS, right? So the ticker. So let's see why they're up. The banking and payments processing conglomerate raised its forecast for annual adjusted profit and posted a 49% jump in the first quarter profit on Monday. There you go. All right. That's why financials are our leading sector this morning. And Lucid was down, so the company forecasts a higher capital expenditure this year and reiterate an annual production forecast below Wall Street targets. There you go. All right, Palantir. Palantir. The firm raised its annual revenue forecast, riding on strong demand for its services. Let's see where they missed though. Revenue growth in the U.S. commercial business slowed to 40% year over year. That's why it is down compared to 70% in the prior quarter. All right, Walt Disney, talked about that. Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time. Tesla, yeah, into the probe. All right, let's get into upgrades and downgrades here. All right, let's see here. So AMD was upgraded with a price target of 190 from a hold to a buy. Right, Cloudflare also from a hold to a buy. What else? Target from neutral to a buy. Price target 180. All right, let's get into downgrades. CVS was downgraded from a 99 to a 59, from a buy to a hold. And that's really it. Let's see if there's any target raises. Target raises that we need to note. There's that Fidelity target raise. ServiceNow target raise. Nvidia target raise from 1,000 to 1,100. Shocker. Palantir target raise from 18 to 20. And that's about it there. Let's see if there's any lower target raises, lowers. Baba is lowered from 114 to 113, and that's about it. All right. So on the earnings front, let's see what we got here. Okay. So after the close, we got Rivian, Arista, Upstart, Win, Lyft, Oxy, Twilio. That's what we got. Tomorrow before the open, Uber, Shopify, Affirm, a Toyota. That's what we got tomorrow. So that wraps up that. We're going to get right into the daily charts here. All right, let's look at our SPY, right? Let's look at that SPY. So we broke that channel, right? So literally what we did was we opened here, had a moment to break down, hit the top of the channel, right? Never touched the 50-day moving average, right? And we held last week's highs. And then we just pushed up. He pushed up. And if you look to the left, you're in the middle of this muck. Here, we'll get into that later. All right, so where are we at now? 516.74, 516.74. We are gapping up slightly. Okay, gapping up slightly. Could this be the destination? This trend line could be. This definitely could be the trend. Here, let's just get a little room here so we can see possibly what can happen here. So if you go to the 10th, which would be Friday's expiration, follow this trend line, you could be looking at 519 by the end of the week, right? 519, 520, 519 would hit this trend line, right? You also have resistance here at 5, let's call it 520. Could be the destination for the end of the week. Okay, let's look at futures. See what that looks like. Okay, here's our futures. You pushed through the 50-day moving average in futures yesterday. Okay, you broke this downtrend and held it, pushed, right? So you're coming up to this mess here. Okay, pretty much you're at the most trader price of the year. Okay, so that's going to cause us to move sideways, to move down a little bit. It's going to slow the market down. Okay, now Qs. Look at the Qs. We broke out of the channel. Boom. Opened here. Look what we came down to. Last week's highs. Bounced off, went right up to this downtrend line. Might have to fix this now. Let's go to here. Okay. And now that also, look to the left, look at this, the most trader price of the year coming up to. So we definitely can stop around 442. Okay. That could slow down the market. Now where are we at today? 439.64, 439.64. We're at the upper third of yesterday's session. Upper third of yesterday's session. So the market needs to just hold this 436s and possibly move back up. Okay. You finally probably squeezed the last of these shorts that were in here yesterday. If you look to the left, you do have a double top here, right here around 442. Like I said, you might be able to push up to there. We might move sideways a little bit and then push up to there. Next week, you got CPI. Let's look at Qs. I mean the NASDAQ futures. Okay, look what we did in the futures. You crossed the 50-day moving average. And now look, you're holding it. And you're going to have a weak high here. Okay. I'm already going to go over that later, but you're going to have a weak high here in the futures and see if you can push up push up to this area, right? Let's see. I could even throw probably a trend line in there, maybe. Let's see here. Right there. Could set it up to hit in there. Like I said, we could do one of these. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Now, moving on. Let's go to the triple-headed monster. That is our 10-year yield, what is reported. So let's go to that. And that has been taking a break. Okay? I said we were in this range for so long. And it finally, now could this be the swing low? That goes back up. Or do we just fall back to like a 4.3 yield? This is going to help the market. Okay? That is going to help the market. You want yields to go down. Puts less weight on equities, okay? Now let's look at that beautiful dollar here. I don't know why I call it beautiful. But same thing. See, you're in that consolidation. Bam. Move down. Okay, you move down. Now, look, it could just be a swing low where it powers up. Don't know yet, right? Remember, we're also in an election year. So, here's the VIX. The VIX has gotten fear pushed right out of it. Look at that. The VIX was at 21 at one point. And it just boom, boom. Had a little rise here, little rise here. But look, we're back down to not a lot of fear. And that's why volatility is slowed. The volume is low. So now this is all looking like we either go sideways to up. The dollar, the yield, and this, right? So 10-year yield is actually down another 0.5% right now from yesterday. So that's going to do nothing but fuel the markets. Okay? Now, we are going to go to the favorite thing that I like to go to, and that is the market profile and volume profile. And let's just look how this market looks. Okay, we'll look at how the market looks. And what crappy volume. Really not pretty volume. I mean, that session is very small for overnight session. That's 11 points in the ES. That is tiny. It's a little baby, right? We're used to getting like 24, 40 points. 11 points in the ES range right now. Okay? Not strong. Now, if you notice one thing, this green box here on my charts means that that's the most traded price of this year. No coincidence, the market went here yesterday and stopped, right? Closed there, right? That's why I have these things on my charts. So We are holding there. I think this usually slows down a market when you hit a big large volume node like the most traded price of this year. Okay, so let's look at structure. Okay, we got our volume. The volume is ugly, ugly with earnings and all FOMC. Ugly, ugly, ugly volume. All right, I really can't. This is not going to tell me much, but the structure of it will. Okay, so the most traded price of the week was still, let's go just to show you guys, still all the way down here. That will change today. 50.60 was the most traded price of the week. That is going to move up today. As soon as the market opens, it's going to flip up. I might even, well, just do it now because it's here in the 24-hour session, and that will be moved up. So I'm going to put that there on that chart. Okay, so here's price 5207. Okay, now here's the most traded price right now in the 24 hours, but it will change today to the most traded price of the RTH. It will. That price is 5183. Also lines up the 50-day moving average on futures. Okay, so basically that's the defense. Okay, that's the defense for the bulls. You got a gap here below you, got another gap here because we just been blowing up. We've just been moving higher. Okay, now if you want to look at structure, let's look at that. Let's look how you look at the overnight compared to yesterday. Well, you had a little spike up at the end of the session, right? And you close right here. Okay, you close right there. Now price is here. So if you want to just look at it and you don't have bias, this structure tells you the market accepting. Here's the spike. We just drew spike out. The market's accepting the higher prices. That's undeniable. That's bullish. Okay? Doesn't mean the market can't fall from here and do something. But this is bullish. The market's accepting these higher prices. It's saying, okay, you closed here. We're a little higher. Okay? If we make another move today, like we can, I don't really know. Like I said, we have moved a little bit far. This could be a sideways choppy day, but who knows with this low volume. Okay? So, we are right at yesterday's highs. And this little baby session is balanced, okay? It is close to 100% net long, but it's in the middle, so that's not an edge, okay? That is not an edge. And yesterday was just horrible for price action. Oh my God, the volume was so low. You literally chopped around here for a long time, and then finally just worked your way, boom, up. Okay, horrible. So, what do we do today? Well, you're at the most traded price of the year. You're doing what I expect. You go around this, and you're probably going to do stuff above it, below it, and finally make your decision to get the hell out of there. But I don't know. Usually you don't just break through that, right? So let's talk about any big significant level. Okay, so one thing comes off the map here to me is the bottom portion of this lower most traded price of the year. It happens to be the close of yesterday and the overnight low. This is a weak low. Now I could expect, right? I wouldn't be shocked. We're in supply if we do one of these and come back and just test this demand or here, the most traded price of the week, right? And then when we do one of these today, I wouldn't shock me, especially with the settlement and that they're all longs overnight. There's not a lot of them. That could be a quick correction. Okay, so that's one level I'll be looking at. Now, what that level is 5202. 5202. Yesterday's midpoint was 5191. Lines up with this demand zone here. Okay, got the week to date VWAP right here. Okay, you got most traded price of the week here. Okay, so this is a bullish market, right? I am not chasing higher. However, let's go over scenarios, okay? All right, so now for me, if this moves higher, it goes without me. So I like to see some type of pullback. So, all right, now if we go back, it even goes back farther than this. So you got a higher low, 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 and you got a higher low. Okay, I don't talk overbought, oversold, but the market has went pretty far without getting any low, previous low touched. That's one time framing. That's called one time framing. Okay, so no higher lows been. That's like if you're long all the way from there, you're just holding, holding, holding. There's no reason for any short to panic. I mean, long to panic. So there could be a correction coming. Okay, and I would like to be here for it. So in a bull scenario here, push up, maybe even break the supply, but then maybe get some weakness, come through the most traded price, right? Now your first test would be the midpoint of yesterday and this demand. This could hold, and like I said, you can come back here. This will be hard to really push through it, but if you do, maybe you come back, push up, and then stay here. Okay. Also, you can drop, test week to day VO up, and the most traded price of the week. Okay. Even if you dip into this demand and jump right out and hold, that could propel you higher. Now, I'm not expecting an all-out blowout higher, but there is single prints up here, or possibly we could go. That's around 52.32. So this is what I would expect if the buyers are just staying in control. Okay. Now, if we go into the short side, we are in supply right now. Now, this is a used up almost supply, because check that out. Look at the supply and look at this session, and used all that up. So once you use the supply, it becomes weaker. Okay, so since the supply zone has almost been used, so it's weaker. However, it's still there, and we still have the most traded price of the year here. So you saw what I just did with the bullish scenario, right? I want to pull back, but let's say you're like, okay, this market's moves up, goes through the open, there's a higher low. You break this weak low that I talked about, you're probably going to test in here, okay, and see if you can break this demand. See if you can come down to the most traded price of the week and break that and hold this, right? That could be the move and it could be over. However, you take this demand out and fill the gap, you could possibly move down to here. If you break this level, oh boy, we're going to go after that next gap down. Do I see that? I don't think that's likely. Okay, I think this is the most likely to come down here, boom, and we may even put the balance off here. But however, you have to put that into the scenarios. Okay, and I'm noticing one thing, that for some reason did I not, I guess I didn't do that. I guess I forgot to do that. This is how I set up my charts. You're getting a little sneak preview how I set up my charts here. I guess I forgot to do that yesterday. Alright. So, that's the most traded price of yesterday. So, I didn't put that up there. I was like, huh, that's not there. Alright, so that's kind of what I'm seeing with the ES. Now, I'll be honest with you. I gotta be honest with you. I still don't really like the volume. So, I might just look at oil. So, I really don't like the volume. It's really low. So, let's look at NASDAQ together. Let's see if it's any different. It's really not. I'm looking at it right now. Again, I do this live with you guys. I don't look at this until I'm with you guys. All right. So here's that week high. Okay. Now, did I not have a week high and I just forgot to say it? In an ES? Oh, yeah, you don't really have a week high here. Okay, so I would have said it. I know I would have said that. All right. So profile really doesn't have much significance because it's so wacky. All right, but most traded price of the week, guess what? It's up here. 18,100. Okay. Price is here. 181.71. Here's the spike from yesterday. Price is within the spike. What does that tell you? Buyers are accepting the higher prices. Let's just say the market is accepting higher prices. Okay, we have a weak high here, so that's 182. Oh, that's not a good line. 182. That's the weak high. That's your possible breakout to resistance point. Okay. Now, if you notice above here, this green box, that's the most traded price of this year. That could be a destination for the Nasdaq where we relax, the market relaxes and moves sideways. That could be a possible destination today. I don't know if that's it. Ooh, large orders hitting the tape in my ear. All right, so let's look at this. All right, same kind of thing. Okay, this is the place to defend for the bulls right here. Okay, so like I said, I think a correction or a little tiny pullback you might be due for that, right? So we'll get right into scenarios because I'm trying to see if there's any nuance here. Just that weak high is really what I'm seeing. And you do have a weak low here with the most traded price of yesterday, the most traded price of the week, most traded price of yesterday, week to day VWAP. Okay, this needs to be defended by the bulls. All right, 18,100. But you do have a demand zone down here. So like I said, anything that shows acceptance, which means you really have price underneath here, well then you can move lower, right? But if you do one of these, boop, 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 touch this, recover, then you're gonna go higher. Okay. It's not always easy to see it in real time, acceptance, because you have to really test your patience to be like, oh my God, there's a selling happening, and then boom, all of a sudden the market recovers and it's back up to the highs, right? So let's get into the scenarios of the Nasdaq. Gonna be very similar. Okay. All right. So let's look at this together. Be very similar. Okay. So you got a demand zone here. That'd be your first defense for the bulls. Okay. Now you know I already said this is a big defense as well. So basically this area. So if you see this weak high get boop and you don't take out the supply, right? Like I said, this market can go without me if it does that. If it pulls back, right, you're going to have this demand here to see if we can pop up to the most traded price of the year. Then you want to see this box defend it. So like I said, we could even come down, push up. We could even dip our toe into this demand, recover, and then you can make the move. Because you need liquidity to go higher. You need shorts to come in for them to take profits for you to push the move higher. That's what I would look for the bulls. That's what I would look for the bulls. Now, as far as the bear case, you are in supply. It is not a use supply, just like the ES. Okay, you have a weak high here. That could be resistance. That could be a little bit of a bull trap. Boom, you break out. You don't kill it. You go through the open, lower high, lower high. You go to the overnight lows. You test this demand. Maybe you get a little bounce. Maybe you break it. You come up here. Then you test here. If you break that and hold, you have demand here. It's probably not going to be easy to cut through these demand zones, but if you do, cut through it, and you come down, you got a lot of demand here. So, that's what I'm saying. I think probability wise, I think you'd probably jump up here and we'd bounce, because in the mindset of people now are like, all right, this market's going back up to all-time highs. I want to be long any pullback. That's why I think the market's not going to go flip. And plus, you have the dollar weaker, 10-year yield is weaker, and the VIX is weaker in your favor. So you got to go where momentum is. Doesn't matter what you believe. Okay, that is it. Now, real quickly, I just wanted to show you on a different kind of map here. Now, this is the ES. All right, the most traded price of the year here is right here. However, this is the most traded price on another chart of mine. So you can see that the volumes are very similar, but this is where we're at. See that? This is the most traded price of last month, 52.54. We could possibly move there. Okay, for the NASDAQ, I'm going to show you how big this volume is. It's insane. Okay, of where it could be headed. Here's price right now. Look at this volume. Look at that volume. It's the most traded price of this year. 182.84. I think that's where we stop for a little bit. You either hit that, pull back, hit it, come up, and come back to it, and then try to make a decision. Now, remember, next week CPI. Okay? And crude just hit a supply zone. Let me see what they just did. You can look at crude with me. Alright, so crude, this is the most traded price of the last year and this year. 676.46 a barrel. Crude is right here right now. So I am probably going to look for some move back up here to maybe sure to break this low to go here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for in crude. If you see the crude is in balance, okay, that is crude. Equal highs, equal lows. Prices right here. Okay, so that's why I'm liking crude. I'd like a pop up. Why did I say crude was in supply? That doesn't make sense. Or maybe it went there real quick. You know what? Let me see it real quick. Let me just break this out. I just want to see because I got a supply warning. Yep, there it was. All right. So crude might be my preferred trading vehicle today. Anyway, that will be it for me today. Hope everybody has a good day. All right. Hope you enjoyed that analysis. Okay, subscribe, set an alert if you can. Also, give me a big like if you enjoyed it as well. Okay. Have a good day. Try to stay green. Try to stay patient. Like I said, this volume is really turning me off, so I don't know. I'll probably concentrate on crude. But we'll see. If an opportunity presents itself, it presents itself. Okay? All right, everybody. Take it easy.